This is a full-length demonstration, tutorial I should say, on Freeance Mobile for Cityworks 2013. And we're going to take 30 minutes and fully configure Freeance Mobile for Cityworks here in the server configuration here. This is software that sits on your location, plug and play, easy enough to use. And we got an iPhone over here on the right that we're going to demonstrate and show the results of our work. So first thing we're going to do is come in here on Freeance Mobile on the bottom, hit the Cityworks configuration, and we are going to add a new configuration. This is a setup. We can have different setups for water, wastewater, solid waste, parks. So let's go ahead and type in, we're going to add a water group here. So we'll hit apply. And the first thing we want to do is hook into our Cityworks server. So we got 2012.1 or 2013. We're going to go to 2013. We are going to type in our Cityworks server, and it's going to be HTTP. We also work with secure. This is our Active Directory, very easy to look up for Cityworks. And required accuracy, how accurate do I want the GPS to be before it selects. I'm inside the office, so I'm going to type in 100 here. You may want to put in 10, 5, so forth. We need to make sure we put in our projection for our ArcGIS server that we're going to hit, database, so that those GPS lat longs do come in state plane and go in the right location. So let's search for Mile Ohio South, NAD 83 feet. There we go. That was quick. Let's watch this. We'll hit apply, and we can come in on the Cityworks application and already start to see the fruits of our work. Let's go ahead and load the configuration. We'll notice we have a new app down here, water. Let's save it. Let's log in with our standard Cityworks login, and there we are. We are in the Cityworks server, and we are working on live work orders, service requests, inspections. That's quick. Let's keep moving. You know, one thing we want to do is we want to put in a map so that we can link assets, zoom to it, pan around, do all that great GIS-centric, let's save a little battery, GIS-centric Cityworks work. So if you're familiar with Freeance Mobile Pro, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to hook up to a map resource, and then we're going to add some tools to that map. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll map resource, we'll add one. We'll go ahead and put in ArcGIS server. The server is demo3.freeance.com. Oh, gotta spell everything correctly here. And the port is, let's go ahead and list those services. So there we go. Let's go ahead and grab the ArcGIS service. These are just standard ArcGIS services. And let's grab the one that's our Cityworks map service. And let's call it water demo or water tutorial. Okay, giving us a little preview. Let's go ahead and use that. Pretty quick, we've hooked up to that map service. If I've got a geocode service, I could add that. Looks like I do. Let's go ahead and add that. So we'll add, now we can type in a street address and jump to it. This is just a standard ArcGIS index, geocode street index that's on that server, so we'll go ahead and use it. Alright. Let's come in here and say, once again, let's search on our, and put our projection in there. There it is, Ohio South. We got to make sure we do that, otherwise our GPS location won't come in right. Let's zoom out a little. Let's this is going to be the initial map that comes in here. So let's zoom out a little. I don't want to be that tight into the map. I'll show more of a existing map. And that's about it. We're done. We've got layers here we can turn off and on, move up and down, but I'm really going to do that in the map service. Let's zoom out maybe just a little more. So once again, we're just setting our initial map extent so that when somebody comes into this, this is what they'll see. Let's go ahead and hit apply. I made a map service. We'll say that now I'm going to come down here and make a map application. Okay, we'll call it the same thing. We'll call it water. And we call it Water Cityworks. Water CW. And it's going to be that map resource I just made. Water tutorial. There's all my layers it's showing. We'll hit apply. So there we go. We've set a map up. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit apply. And now I can go back into the Cityworks to the water and add my map information. Okay, what's the map resource we just made? It's map tutorial. We'll use that map, and now we're going to add some functionality to the map here. One of the first things we'll do is easy. We'll hit the follow me. This is the blue bouncing ball, just like Google Maps, that's going to follow me around when I turn it on. So accuracy, the zoom extents is 100 meters. That's going to be good. I'm going to go, and the next thing I want to do is set up my layers. You noticed in that map resource we had a lot of layers showing up initially that I don't want to. So we're going to come in here and say we're going to add a base layer. So we're going to say our base layer is, let's just call it streets and parcels. Okay, and in that layer we're going to turn on parcels and streets and base map. I think that's good enough. Okay, we'll hit apply. Let's add another base map that's streets, parcels, and buildings. Alright, and once again we'll turn on some layers that we need. Buildings, parcels, streets. Looks good enough. Now this is where we'd add, if we had aerial photos, we'd add that. Maybe we can do one more base map that's going to be soils. Not sure why you'd want that, but we'll throw it in there just for an example. Maybe for drainage. Now those are base maps that we turn on. We also want groups of layers, and one of the groups of layers we want is we want the water system. So let's go ahead and turn on all these layers for not the wastewater but the water system. So this is allowing someone to quickly go in and just click on one button to see all the water layers. I don't want to give all 100 or so layers to a GIS user out in the field. They're going to get blown away. That's too much work. I mean, I don't want to click on all those buttons just to see the water data. I just want to have one button. Let's go ahead and put another group of wastewater. So I'm just setting up layers that are easy to use here. Once again, we don't want to burden our end user. They're not GIS experts. They're not going to become one, and even if they were, they probably wouldn't want to click this many buttons. So I can create as many group layers as I want. There's our wastewater. Okay. That looks good. We've done our layers. Now another important thing to come in here is I want to select features to not only identify them but link work orders, service requests to them. So I'm going to come in here and say, well, one thing I definitely want to hook work orders to is a manhole, sanitary manhole. So we'll go ahead and add that, and now that's selectable. You have to make things selectable on Freeance Mobile Map Viewer. This isn't going to select everything that's on the layers. I mean, end users don't want to see street right-of-way and zoning information and street center lines. They just want to select and see information that's relevant to them. So we're going to select manholes, and very important, selection tolerance. Let's be within 50 feet with my finger to select a manhole. If I make that too small, like 2 feet or 5 feet, you can make your end user zoom in too close before they find it. If you make it too big, like a mile, 5,000 feet, 1,000 feet, you're going to select every manhole, and they're not going to know which one to choose, or it will be difficult to choose. So try to select something that, hey, my manholes are usually at least a couple 100 feet apart, 50 feet apart, unless they're grouped in an intersection. How are they highlighted? Let's put big star so we can make sure our end user sees them. When they select a manhole, what attribute information do I want them to see? And I can rename these, delete them, change field alias, date created. Maybe come in here and say date created is a date, apply so it's formatted correctly. Okay, just information that makes this more consumable. Let's go ahead and hit apply. We can add as many as we want. I can also come down here and put probably a gravity main somebody wants to clean. Once again, the same operation. I'll put 20 feet. Little lines are easier to select. Once again, my information. Usually want to get rid of that shape layer. Let's let people identify parcels. Usually people want to see owner. They may not want to link a work order to a parcel, but they want to identify and see who lives there. And since this is a polygon, I'm going to put down, 5. I don't want to select. Usually I'll select right in the middle of the polygon. I won't have any problem selecting it. So again, here's my data. Let's get rid of this. Nobody's going to understand those cryptic shape files. So a lot of good information there. Okay. Let's add a hydrant. Everybody wants to use a hydrant since we called this water anyway. So let's add the hydrant. Once again, just going through this again. I think 100's good because hydrants are fairly far apart. We'll go big star, easy to see. All this information looks good. Hit apply. Okay, there we go. We can also do searches. I mean, I want to search on a hydrant. I want to search on a property owner. I want to search on different information, just a GIS search. Well, to do that, I need to add forms. And forms are pretty easy, multi-step process, but pretty easy to do. We'll go ahead and go through one here real quick so we can see what we have. I'm going to make a database resource. I need to hook up to a database, and I'm going to add that same database resource, my ArcGIS server, on demo3.freeance.com with my port. Okay, we'll connect to that server. We'll connect to my same ArcGIS service. I can even let people edit information. I'm not going to let them. I don't want people deleting or moving ArcGIS features, but we can add that if we want. We'll call this water CW DB. We'll hit apply. Now I need to do another item here. I need to actually add a search. We'll call it the hydrant search. CW SQL. We'll go to our database resource we just made. We'll hit apply, and we're going to do a quick search here. We're going to come into the hydrant layer, see if we can find it. Hydrant. We're going to open up that table. We're going to see everything when we select it, except for the geometry. And how are we going to search on things? Well, we're going to search on facility ID. It's a string, so we're going to say facility, where facility ID is like hydrant ID. That's anything we want. I'm just making it understandable to me. We'll add a wildcard in the front and the back. We'll hit apply, add, and let's go test that query. Let's go just search on all the hydrants. It found them. There it is. There's all the hydrants. Let's type in WH. We should just narrow that search. So let's come in here and test that. This is kind of nice. I can test my searches. So there's a smaller subset of hydrants that just start with that. Let's also search on the location. That's a nice street address. So let's go ahead and search on that also. So we'll go ahead and say we're done. And it's all capital. So let's help our end user out here. Let's come in and say where's location is right there. So we're going to say and we'll search on location. This is just standard SQL. Locations like, we'll call it street address. Put a wildcard at the front and the back. Let's also force it to uppercase so our end user doesn't have to, and hit the add button. Go uppercase. Let's test that query. Now I got 2 fields. I can keep adding as many fields as I want. I know there's a street here locally named that, and there's 2 hydrants on it. Excellent. Okay, so we're done with that search. Let's apply and save. And I need to, one more, come in here, forms, add that search that I just made. Come in here to forms config. I want to add a form. I'm sorry, here we go. It's a search. And it's going to be a CW water hydrant search. And our predefined query is the one we just made. We'll go ahead and hit apply. Okay, little work to do here. We're not going to let people edit records, as we said. We're going to sort by facility ID when we bring up more than one. Okay, this is the prompt for our end user searching, so let's go hydrant ID and street address. Okay, and the results. When we find those 2 hydrants on that one street, what information do we want to see in a list that lets people select the right ones? Well, these don't mean anything to them, so let's add facility ID and location, and then let's also let people zoom when they do select one of those. We want to zoom to our map resource we just made, water tutorial, and the layer is going to be hydrant. It's all pretty intuitive, and we'll search object ID to object ID, and we'll go ahead and hit apply after we hit details. We're going to come in here and say when somebody does select a list of one of those two hydrants, what do we want them to see? Similar to the selection, I just want to let them see everything. So here we go. Let's go ahead and hit apply. We've done everything here. Apply. Now we can go back into Cityworks. The whole reason we did that search. Let's go back into water, go back into the map. Cancel. Cancel. Let's go into the water and the map we used. Did we not save that? Doesn't look like we saved that map. Let's go back and add it real quick. Use that map. And here we go. We can put our smart form in. It's the one we just made. Cityworks water hydrant test. Cityworks hydrant, and this is a hydrant search. And we're going to search on ID and address. So that's a little description. So we'll hit apply. Now we've got that search in there. Let's quickly, good for the tutorial because we can go back over this. Let's quickly add our selected features that we did once already, but we're going to do them again. Just so that we know. Once again, we're selecting manholes. Let's go within 50 feet. Selection tolerance. Big star. Selection. Yeah, everybody looks good here. Hit apply. We'll make sure we save it this time. We'll add hydrants. We'll add that because we want to definitely select. We'll put a big star. You can make your own symbology over here too with server markup, so you can make your own markup symbology. Let's all go. This all looks good. This all looks good. Let's hit apply, and let's add gravity main. Gravity main. Add. Let's go down to 50 here. Maybe even 25. It's a polygon. Okay, let's hit apply. Let's add one more. Let's add that parcel because I do want people to be able to identify a parcel. And once again, this is a polygon, so I'm just going to make it 2 map units. Let's turn off some cryptic shape fields. Hit apply. And let's go ahead and save this. Let's make sure we save this. There we go. And we're almost done here. Let's go back to our base layers. Remember, we had base layers. We're gonna have streets and parcels. Okay, so we'll come down here and turn on the streets and the parcels. And we'll make one more base layer just so we have 2 to choose from. We'll call it streets, parcels, and buildings. Okay. This is once again where I want to turn on aerial photos, make a base map for aerial photos. Apply. Let's make sure I turned on for this one that base map. Yeah, I did. Okay. Layer. And we'll quickly add our groups of layers. This is going to be waste. This is so people can turn on groups of layers with one click. What layers do I want when they turn on this wastewater? There we go. Hit apply. Let's add one for water. Turn on our water layers here that we want. Now I can break this down farther to maybe mains and devices, and then service lines and meters in another group. So I can break this down further. I can make any groups I'd like here. So let's, there we go, looks good. Alright, let's go ahead and hit apply. Now, let's hit save. Now, let's go back into our Cityworks application. Let's see that we've added the map very quickly there. Okay, so we'll go back to the setup page and we'll just resave that, and we'll log in with our standard Cityworks login, and you'll notice now I'm going to have a map button up here that wasn't here before. And here is my live ArcGIS map service that I can zoom in on, change layers, zoom to my GPS location. Let's turn on water, save, zoom in a little more. Let's select this hydrant. This is a good example too when I build a map service for mobile. I really want to increase my symbology and my text by almost like 4 times. So let's look at that hydrant. This is that information. Remember we had to select? So let's attach a work order to it. So there we are. We're back in our live work order. And it's attached to that map feature that I can then zoom to. There it went to. It zoomed to that hydrant. There it is. So now we've entered a map, but let's go back, and I want to modify some details in this the work order. First of all, I want to take a photo. You know, I have all my tasks and my elm in here. This is all set up in Cityworks already. Okay, so everything's set up here. All my employees. This is all done for me. I've done that hard work already. My tasks will automatically come in, if I have several of them. But what I want to do is I want to add some additional things. I want to set this up. I want to like add some photos and some custom fields. So let's go into Cityworks and do that. Let's come over here and go back into our configuration and go back into our work order. Okay, now I can start to customize this work order, how it works, how it updates. One thing I want to do is tile number and map page. I don't want to show those. People never work with them or use them, so let's come under here in the update fields. The map page, just hide them. I don't even want to show them. But the address, I want that required. I want that highlighted in red. They've got to mark that in. Okay? So there we go. We've done some work on that. Same there. Let's hide those and maybe make city required field. Okay? Or address. I can always come back and change these. Okay, one of the things I want to do is I want to add some custom universal fields, so I'm writing information to those. One of the things I can do is a picture. So let's add a photo, because I want to add photos. I can't do attachments yet. I wish I could. Maybe that's coming in the next release. That's the only thing I pretty much can't do in Cityworks with Freeance Mobile is attachments. But I can add photos to these records through custom universal fields. So let's add that, and that photo is going to go to the text 10 field. That's all I have to do. Okay? This is kind of neat too. This is the auto-populate. Say I want to collect closest street address or parcel ID and add it to that work order, or main size. I can come in here and say, let's add a geopopulate. And what this is going to do is, let's do this for the hydrant work orders. We're going to say I'm going to collect the service main or the closest watch valve ID. So we're going to come in here in the map resources, the one we made, the one we're working on, water tutorial. The layer is going to come from the water layer for, let's say, control valve, the closest control valve or service valve. Okay, and I want to grab from the service valve, I want to populate the facility ID, and I'm going to put that in custom field text